Chapter 139, Powerful Flesh Body. HMPH. Now you know that joy is the opposite of sorrow. Li Yuanba sneered. It's better to worry about your seventh uncle, Wang Tixiong said in a cold voice. Li Yuanba snorted coldly and did not talk any more nonsense as he carefully stared at the heavenly tribulation. On the side, Jin San Xiao was shaking his head. He knew that Li Yuanba was not worried about Li Laoqi's safety at all, because even if Li Laoqi died, it wouldn't cause any harm to the Li family. Instead, the death of Kang Tian, an enemy with unlimited potential, would be good news for the Li family. Wang Tixiong looked towards Kang Tian on the life and death stage with a face full of worry, clenching his fists and praying in his heart. Lei Yun, Wu Wanyong, Liu Suifeng, and the others were also filled with tension. The surrounding crowd watching the battle was even watching the scene with rapt attention. No one had expected such a scene to appear in the final moments of the battle between Kang Tian and Li Laoqi. Right now, the crowd no longer cared about the victory or defeat of the battle, but wanted to see if Kang Tian and Li Laoqi could survive the heavenly tribulation after it was enhanced tenfold. This was undoubtedly a great challenge. Li Laoqi, meet your death. Kang Tian laughed coldly. At this moment, he wasn't casting his heaven escape hand, because even if Li Laoqi escaped, the heavenly tribulation would still follow him. Li Laoqi's face was very ugly as he stared resentfully at Kang Tian. Kid, if I don't die, I will definitely exterminate your entire clan, so that you can't beg for life or death. Wait until you survive. Kang Tian had a cold smile on his face. Then he furrowed his brows and fiercely looked into the sky. Rumble, the huge calamity cloud, had finally finished brewing, and a dazzling thunderbolt flashed within the dark clouds that covered 100 miles in a radius. The majestic energy shook the entire space, and even the heavens and earth trembled. Boom, 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 boom. A series of 9 bucket-thick heavenly thunderbolts blasted down, engulfing towards Kang Tian and Li Laoqi. The piercing electric light contained a majestic energy fluctuation, and a distortion occurred in the surrounding emptiness, as if it couldn't withstand such a terrifying power. This is the 9-9 heavenly tribulation. The crowd exclaimed in shock. Kang Tian had formed the 9 revolutions Golden Dan, and what he had attracted was naturally the 9-9 heavenly tribulation. Normally, other people's heavenly thunderbolts descended one by one, and there were only 9 in total. But the 9-9 heavenly tribulations were 9 that descended together, a total of 81. The standard set by the heavenly tribulation is Li Laoqi. The power of each of these heavenly thunders is comparable to the full force strike of a strong person at the 9th level of the Jidan stage. I don't know how many times they will be able to block it. Among the crowd, an old generation expert said. The crowd sighed at the words. Although Kang Tian used the heavenly tribulation to solve the threat of Li Laoqi's treasure weapon, but in doing so he had to face a heavenly tribulation that was enhanced by 10 times, and he didn't know whether it was worth it or not. Without any unnecessary nonsense, the crowd stared tightly at the 2 people on the life and death stage. At this moment, both Kang Tian and Li Laoqi did not fight with each other, because under such a terrifying heavenly tribulation, for them to fight each other again would be purely looking for death. Rumble, 9 terrifying heavenly thunderbolts swooped down, each filled with terrifying energy fluctuations as they descended on the life and death stage, almost simultaneously, engulfing Kang Tian and Li Laoqi in an endless sea of lightning. Rumble, continuous and incessant rattling sounds shook the heavens, and the entire land shook as a terrifying crack spread out in all directions with the life and death platform as the center. The terrifying might of heavenly thunder was revealed at this moment. The crowd all looked at this scene in shock. Wang Tixiong, Jin San Xiao, and the others all stood up with a prancing start, looking with worry at the life and death stage, which was shrouded in endless lightning rays. At this moment, in the middle of the endless sea of lightning, Kang Chon's entire body emitted a faint purple glow as all the surrounding lightning penetrated into his body, causing his clothes to turn into flying dust in an instant. Kang Chon did not activate his true essence to resist, as he wanted to see how powerful this first wave of heavenly lightning was in order to meet the next heavenly lightning. Hiss! Intense pain drilled through his heart and pierced his bones. Kang Chon felt his body instantly paralyzed as a terrifying electric light flashed across his entire body. The terrifying power of lightning spread throughout his entire body, following his flesh, penetrating his bones, and entering his body. Plop! At this instant, the purple blood within Kang Chon's body boiled violently, and then unexpectedly began to devour this lightning power that penetrated in. Kang Chon was instantly shocked, his face full of disbelief. Kang Chon hegemonic blood could actually devour the heavenly tribulation on its own. This is too unbelievable. Immediately after, Kang Chon was once again shocked by the sight in front of him, his Kang Chon hegemony blood. After devouring the power of the thunderbolts, unexpectedly spat out a huge life energy to repair his fleshly body that was pitch black from the heavenly thunderbolts. This, Kang Chon was completely stunned. It was the first time he knew that the Kang Chon hegemony blood had this kind of use. He immediately contacted the Dan Emperor in the reverse heavenly cauldron. "Kid, what's the matter? Huh, your kid has crossed the threshold." Emperor Dan's divine thoughts probed out and instantly discovered the terrifying heavenly tribulation looming above Kang Chon's head. He then scanned Kang Chon's entire body and discovered that the Kang Chon hegemony blood was devouring the lightning power that had entered Kang Chon's body. What a terrifying bloodline! No wonder those who possess Kang Chon hegemony blood have incomparably powerful physical bodies. This terrifying bloodline can even utilize the lightning within to temper the physical body. It's truly shocking. Emperor Dan marveled. Then he reminded Kang Chon, saying, "Kid, in the future, you shouldn't even resist any heavenly tribulation like this. Just make use of the heavenly lightning to exercise your fleshly body. This will make your fleshly body incomparably powerful." Kang Chon nodded at his words. He thought the same thing. He felt that the strength of his fleshly body was already rapidly increasing now. How could he possibly stop such a good thing? However, the pain of the heavenly lightning pouring into his body was very intense. If immortal Kang Chon had a strong will since he was a child, I'm afraid that he would have been unable to endure this heart-rending pain. "Didn't you see that not far away?" Lee Laoki was hissing loudly. This old guy's flesh body had originally stepped into the Kang Chon. Even if he used his true essence to resist, he still suffered a terrifying shock. After all, the power of all these heavenly thunderbolts was equivalent to the 9th level of the Jidan stage. Even if Lee Laoki was a 9th level Jidan stage powerhouse, it was impossible for him to resist 9 heavenly thunderbolts at the same time in an instant. Therefore, Lee Laoki was doomed to tragedy. Using heavenly thunder to temper the flesh throughout the ages, I'm afraid that only a few people would be able to do it. Fortunately, the crowd couldn't see the heavens in the midst of the thunderous light, or else they would have been absolutely stunned. Under the bombardment of the 9 terrifying heavenly thunderbolts, Lee Laoki was smashed and spat out blood. His body was in rags. But he was a little better than Kang Chon, because he was strong, and also used his true essence to protect his body. And even more, he had the Overlord Lance, a treasured weapon to defend himself, and the impact he received was relatively smaller. Kang Chon, on the other hand, completely absorbed the entirety of the 9 heavenly thunderbolts attack, and the powerful lightning power instantly shattered his clothes before destroying his flesh, revealing a piece of ghastly white bone. However, as Kang Chon's hegemonic blood absorbed the lightning power and then released his life energy, Kang Chon's flesh was rapidly recovering, and in the end, not only was he restored intact, but the strength of his flesh had also increased by several times. When the first wave of heavenly thunder passed, the huge life and death stage was already in pieces. And Kang Tian and Li Laoqi were both directly blasted into a deep pit. Everyone was extremely shocked. This was only the first wave of heavenly thunder, and it was so powerful. How should the 8 waves behind it be overcome? Kang Tian. Li Laoqi quickly rushed out from the pit, glaring at Kang Tian with an angry face. The power of the heavenly tribulation was more terrifying than he had imagined. If he didn't die with the Overlord Lance, he would have suffered serious injuries in this first wave. Moreover, the Overlord gun is an offensive treasure weapon. The defense is only a little stronger than a normal spiritual weapon. Li Laoqi is not sure to survive the next 8 waves of heavenly thunder. Not bad, old man, you still managed to hold on to a wave. Keep up the good work, oh. Kang Tian also jumped out from the big pit, glanced at Li Laoqi and said teasingly. Li Laoqi was able to hold on to a wave, was in his expectation. After all, the other party was a Jidan stage flare powerhouse anyhow, and there was also a treasure weapon to protect him. But with the power of this heavenly thunder, this old guy was able to hold on to 7 waves at most. Li Laoqi was furious when he heard this, but immediately the sound of rumbling came from the sky. He gritted his teeth and had to sit down immediately and swallow pills to recover from his injuries, because immediately the heavenly thunder is coming again. Seeing this, Kang Tian no longer ridiculed him. Anyway, this old man could not live for long, but he also did not swallow pills, because his true essence did not lose at all, but instead strengthened a lot. Just now, that wave of heavenly thunder, he completely used his flesh to resist it without using a bit of his true essence. And when Kang Tian hegemony blood absorbed the power of the thunderbolt, not only did it release some life energy, but it also contained some pure true essence. So not only did he not lose any of his true essence, but it increased instead. After carefully sensing the strength of his current fleshly body, a trace of surprise flashed in Kang Tian's eyes. At this moment, his fleshly body was more than 10 times stronger than before. This was only the first wave of heavenly thunder, or once he passed through the 9 waves of heavenly thunder, then to what extent would his fleshly body be powerful? I'm afraid that by that time, he wouldn't need true essence. He would be able to smash Li Laoqi to death with a single punch. Come on. An excited light appeared in Kang Tian's eyes. He began to look forward to the next wave of heavenly thunder to come soon. If Li Laoqi knew about it, he was afraid that he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. Rumble. The robbing cloud seemed to sense Kang Tian's battle intent and began to tremble violently. Then it once again spewed out 9 beams of light, just like 9 volcanoes erupting. The 9 heavenly thunderbolts once again descended and descended, the piercing light illuminating the entire heaven and earth. How come so fast? Li Laoqi stood up with a swish. His face was unsightly as he stared at the 9 heavenly thunderbolts descending in the sky. When he first crossed the tribulation, each wave of heavenly thunderbolts was separated by an hour, which was like this now, where they descended before half an hour had elapsed. Li Laoqi's heart is very anxious. His loss of true essence has not yet been fully recovered. He could not help but curse himself in his heart. If he had known just now, do not and Kangshan nonsense, delayed for such a long time. Unfortunately, he no longer had time for regret. 9 unrivaled heavenly thunderbolts swooped down. The powerful energy swept down, like a flood that had broken the embankment, engulfing the entire life and death platform in it. The crowd watching from afar couldn't help but let out a cry of alarm. This second wave of heavenly thunder was unexpectedly much stronger than the first wave. I'm afraid that Kang Tian and Li Laoqi would have difficulty in passing through this time. On the life and death stage, Kang Tian was directly blasted into the ground by the heavenly thunderbolt, and a huge thunderbolt penetrated into his body. Kang Tian clenched his teeth and resisted hard. The terrifying lightning tore through his flesh and blood, destroying his bones, and the drilling pain destroyed his will. Kang Tian endured the intense pain and clenched his teeth, so quenching his flesh, if forging a piece of fine iron in a blazing fire, sublimating at the extreme level in the endless hammering to reach a higher level. Plopla. The purple blood within Kang Tian's body was boiling and tumbling as a pure lightning energy was absorbed into it, then spewed out a thick life energy, repairing his fleshly body that had been ravaged by the heavenly lightning. At the same time, a pure true essence penetrated into his dantian, causing the true essence in his body to once again strengthen quite a bit, and had already reached the peak of the first layer of the Jidan stage realm. Soon, the second wave of heavenly thunder also passed, and the crowd watching realized that the life and death platform had already disappeared, and there was only a deep pit left in the field, and then two wretched figures rushed out from the deep pit. It was Kang Tian and Li Laoji. In fact, Kang Tian was not in a sorry state. After being repaired by the life energy, his physical body had once again strengthened a lot. Reaching a terrifying level, he was even more powerful than before.